connected, and I was just looking at this, and this is also attached to this third cable, and so there's this piece of plastic here that pops off that gives you access to a few nuts. Looks like maybe another ground and some other kind of sensor. I'll show that in a second. So this cover, you got these two little holes right here. There's plastic pins. You just gotta kind of simultaneously pull these apart, and then I thought there was something hooking it on over here, or wait, you also have these three on the bottom, but I think I actually rocked this down, which probably freed up that bottom one, and then these two bottom ones you can probably just pop off like that. So right here, just start at the top. Again, be careful. Doesn't feel too flimsy, but you never know. All doable things. Just take your time and don't rush. Try to remember as much as you can. Well, there's one that goes to this wire, so that's hooked onto here, so I should probably disconnect that. That looks like a 12 or 13 probably, and that looks like a 10. It just goes to the body here. So let's do that. I did get that sliver out, I think anyways. I didn't wash my hands, but okay. What did I say, a 13? Not drop the socket. Don't want to drop the nut. That one comes off. That one comes off. And then there's the ground. Or the other ground, but this one for sure is a ground. There's actually a lot of space down here if I did actually drop a nut. I could reach my hand down in there, but it depends on where it goes. If it went down there, let's just not do that. Alright, so both of those are disconnected. This bracket stays on, it looks like. Maybe it screws on the back side. Possibly, I don't know. I'm just curious now. Might just clip in. So if it clips in, you definitely want to stay away from that, because that's got hidden clips, and let's just not take that off. We don't need to. And then I think this wire is going to have to stay for a minute, but at least we got, there's a second ground that goes right from there. We'll see that as soon as I pull this cover off, but two grounds, one post, two cables to these, Might be able to pull this up now, at least more than before. Oh, see, this one is actually, that one is actually to that. Well, I may not have needed to pull these off. I was thinking that was gonna come out, but I bet I do down the line here. So that's just one less thing later, I guess. So this is out of the way now. Let's see what I can do on this side. That's just slide straight up. Nothing fancy here. I don't know if you can see that, but that just has like these two square foams on two metal tabs that slide up. It's a pretty cool design actually. Not like that would break. I may have to tape this up, you know, like as high as I can get it. Maybe like that. I don't know if I want to anchor it to a wiper blade. Maybe. But at least that's out of the way, kinda. There's not much wiggle room with those wires, that's for sure. Let me just glance one more time. Well, I got one more little clip that'll give me a little bit more room. You know, and just give myself some room, I'm going to unplug this sensor here. That way I can wrap these back further. Alright, that's pretty good. Can I go further? I want to tempt fate. See how that one goes, but well, just leave that. Get some tape on it. I don't think it'll make a difference if I undo that top cover. I mean, it'll just make the wires, I suppose, a little bit more flexible, but there's so many of them that there's probably only so much you can do. I might need duct tape, I don't know. Alright, let's I don't want to use duct tape directly on these wipers, so put this down first. And then the duct tape over it. I don't know, probably being overcautious, but I can just imagine smearing some glue on my windshield, which I just had replaced, by the way. This will probably be more than enough. It probably didn't string it up tight enough. Yeah. Well, feel like I'm halfway there. Looks like I'm halfway there. Hey, look at that, great access. Huh, okay. But that's just the engine cover. That's not the actual valve cover. So shouldn't speak too soon. As soon as you start saying, "Oh, that was easy." Oh no, it wasn't. I feel like I'm wasting tape there. I didn't get that one. I'll take what I wanted. Alright. So, let's put some duct tape on it. Hopefully that won't fall down on our face at some critical moment. Tape fails or something stupid. I think that's going to be a pain in the butt to take off. 2 layers of tape. Maybe that's not the best idea. But it's what I'm doing. Alright. Alright, you son of a gun. You are secure, kinda. I don't think I have to mess with that again. Every time I have to work in this area, those things just they get in the way and too much work to try to remove them. Alright, so I waited till now to take this off. You can get this off. You know, just under normal circumstances at any time, but figured I'd use the flat surface to kind of make it easier. Just has these things that it pops in. It always makes me think it's gonna break, but I guess I never really looked under here before. I don't think that'll ever break. Pretty good. Alright, now we're looking at the valve cover. Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff, right? So we got the fuel rail here. That plugs in right there. Man, there's a lot of oil everywhere. Okay. Yeah, alright. Alright, I got the phone off the tripod here so I could go ahead and show you a couple of things. I got a real janky setup here with filming this, but I wanted to kind of show you what I'm looking at. I'm going to grab this other light. So you can see a lot of oil right there. Right here, where that gasket you can see sticking out, so cruddy all up in here. It's definitely like worse right there, I think. Hard to see back there. Yeah, it's pretty bad back there. We'll see it better when I get further into this, but anyways, I just wanted to kind of show you the evidence of why I need to have this done. And in reality, it probably needed this done maybe at the 100,000 mark. I mean, I bought it with 109, so it needed it then. I believe this is a common issue with these straight sixes, maybe with other V6s, I'm not sure. But I believe this is probably a pretty common problem for a lot of cars in reality, not just BMWs. But I feel this is probably easier than other cars because of or at least other engines, because the straight six, everything is right on top. So I never did one before, so I have nothing to compare to, but I'm sure I'll find out here. So next I'll be going for these frame rails. I'm sorry, not frame rails, fuel rails, and start clearing off some stuff. I don't think I need to take the intake manifold off. I think I just need to get those off and out the way, and then start going for the injectors and spark plugs. All right. It clips too good. Clip too well, and they break trying to get them off. All right, that one came off. Hopefully you all are strong enough to use your fingers like this, because if you're not, getting to these could be a real pain in the butt. This one down here, though, I don't know about this one. That one goes, and it goes way down there. I might be limited by how far out of the way I can get this, because that one, I don't know where that goes. It goes under. Kind of feel like it's in the wrong place, though. Maybe. Can't imagine that this has been worked on before. So, as it is, I guess I don't care for that. I wish I could go more. I mean, these ones I can take out, but this one, maybe I can reach down there and see if I can reach some end of a plug somewhere. Let's see, don't even know where I'm going. May have to right. You know, big question. I may have to pull the bottom shield off, which isn't a big deal, really. Let's just keep moving forward for now. I'm gonna clamp that off. Try and not make too much of a mess here. Always worry that clamping it could damage a hose. Just being too careful. But I'd rather be too careful. I do have some more coolant if I lose any. Okay, guess I feel alright about that. And now it's another one of those spring clips. Use the straight pick, pull up on this. Feel like that's as far as she wants to go. And I'm expecting a mess, so maybe I'll grab a rag. Old-fashioned country towel. Let's see what happens. It just flexes. It's hooked on. Maybe this needs to come up more. I don't think so. Looks like it just goes straight out. And all you mechanics out there are probably laughing at me. But nothing. Poop. A little bit if I do that. So as a doctor would say, don't do that. I like it just like that. Yeah. Let me put some tape on it. I like tape. Holds things down. There. So, you know what? A little bit more tape. Just in case it wants to do anything funny. Yeah, see, and I just really don't like how this is, so I guess the best to describe it is to say that there's like a, you know, pipe, smaller pipe, inch or so in diameter, and this cable runs behind it, and it just looks like maybe it should be in front of it. Whatever. In any case, I can't get to the end of that cable anyways unless I go under. So for right now, I I guess I'm not loving the amount of room that I have here. This could be one of those things where this car is slightly different. And if I can get it, there we go. Putting a little bit of pressure on this, but maybe like that is good. Might use some duct tape here. Starting to look like open heart surgery. That should hold pretty good. All right. It looks like it just has this wire here, these two wires are just clipped in down here. This is the metal kind of, oh, that'll work. And, oh, that's weird. Well, that's all you can do with that. And that is below the cover. So these two wires, one of them you can get to further down below. I don't know what it does. The other one doesn't want to move, so I'm not going to force it, and like I said, it's below the cover. So I think I got to get this servo motor out, maybe this hose on the back side back here. I think there's some sort of release. It's kind of a funky design. Okay, so I'm a little further along now. Didn't do much. Saw that somebody had freed it up here, but that's kind of giving me some problems as far as separating it over in this area. I don't really see a way to do it. This cord in here splits up into a bunch of different wires, and I don't want to mess with that. I couldn't see the end of the bottom of this one down here that was holding me up. So, and then also I have this hose on the back side. I don't see that in other videos, so I think that's one of those unique parts to this car. I remember that being a real pain in the butt, so I think what I want to do is possibly disconnect it after the valve cover comes off. Remove the valve cover and then just disconnect it at the end. I think that's the best way. This little clip goes this way and undoes that, but it didn't really get me anywhere, so I'm going to set that clip aside for now. Take out the servo motor. I got 2 out of the 6 coils out. Those 2 came out relatively easy. These 2, the servo's in the way, and these 2 don't want to come out just yet, so I think it's easier there and harder here, so I'm going to work my way this way, take that servo motor out and keep going. Those are smaller e-torques. Oh, see, it might make me take the coils out first. Yeah, I gotta take the coils out first. And I just lost my socket. So getting these coils out is not the funnest. Had to twist and pull pretty much as hard as I could. And now my new problem is that the e-torques bolts, my sockets are a little too wide, so I'm using a universal socket. It was an E8, I believe, is the right socket, but this is a 6mm universal. That seems to work. Universal looks like that. There you are. And one more, and this can come off. I'm just gonna put this socket right with these bolts. Maybe it makes it a little easier later on to figure one less thing out. And now this is I think this should just come right out. Well, we're back at it again today. I'm glad I stopped when I did yesterday because I had some unanswered questions, and it was probably a good thing I didn't keep moving forward. The gasket kit that I have does not include this gasket, this O-ring or a gasket, whatever it is. Nor does it include this one back here, so I had to buy those separately, and I did have to go through BMW. Those parts are not available locally or outside of the dealership, apparently. I don't know why. So I had to go all the way down there for that. These bolts on here I have to replace because of the aluminum. So they're one-time use bolts. So I guess that means if it's not an aluminum head, then you don't need those bolts, or you can just reuse the old ones. And it kind of looked like that's what somebody did in the other video, just reuse the original. Maybe I missed that part, but for me, I have to replace them. I'll be grabbing those later today. Doubt I'll even be to that point by then, but maybe. I'm pretty close here. Had a good discussion with the BMW guy, and he shed some light on some things. I told him that all 6 of my spark plugs have oil on them, and he said, uh-oh. I go, what? And he said, your oil separator hose is plugged. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I replaced that. And he said, well, if it was plugged at any point, then those seals have all been broke, or the seal has been broke, and they all need to be replaced, because if that hose is blocked, and then it creates a back pressure and it pushes out all of those seals. So he recommended removing the hose and cleaning it with like a kind of a pipe cleaning type of a method. And so I have to do that. Unfortunately, I think I have to take off this intake manifold. Maybe not, but I know it connects down underneath there. I'll look at that in a little bit, but for right now, I have to just disconnect that hose. That hose is something that's unique to this car. This is the n52 engine, and that configuration apparently has this hose, and this is what I'm talking about back here. Let me get a flashlight and I can show you that a little better. But there's a quick connect right there, and you see how there's like ridges there, and there's a set of ridges there, and then a set of ridges on the other side. So you'd think those would be grip points, but I actually looked online and it looked like you actually grip the 90 degrees off of that. So in other words, those flex out. So I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to go ahead and, squeeze, let me get my fingers, squeeze it kind of this way, because the ridges are this way. So I need to squeeze it this way, and then hopefully the ridges will open up. Otherwise I can, sorry about that, otherwise I can stick a pick in there and maybe pry it up to release the tab. So I'll try those two ways. I was fighting with it before, and I have replaced this before, and I think I replaced it because I broke it trying to get it off. So I'm trying not to do that. And that hose is kind of hanging this up a little bit, so that'll make pushing it off to the backside a little bit better for the hoses that are down over there. There's like two on the back side of that hose and one on the front of that hose. So part of it can be pulled back, but there's that one that's caught on it. So that may have been my fault. I don't know. Actually, no, that's just how it goes together, I think. In any case, I have to do that quick disconnect. I'll do the valve cover job for now. I'll leave it disconnected, possibly put everything else back together, then go for this side and finish disconnecting the bottom so that I can clean that hose and make sure I don't have any back pressure causing all these new seals that I just put in to blow out. So that is the hose, the breather hose to the what do they call it, the oil separator unit, which down underneath there kind of looks like a heart. It's like a round ball shape with a bunch of hoses coming out of it. So I don't know if I'll show you that. This is primarily to do the valve cover, but at the same time that might be technically considered part of the job, so I'll probably include that part also. But for right now, we'll keep going ahead and finish taking this apart. I'm more concerned about how it goes together than I am about how it comes apart. I just need to get it off, and then the new one I'll be more delicate with, I'm sure. But for right now, I think that's it. Oh, I just wanted to show you these gaskets. This is the eccentric shaft sensor. You can see the end there, and you can see that's, where's my finger? There it is. That's that I unplugged this, oh yeah, it's right here. I think it was this one. And so this I had to kind of pull these ears back gently very gently in order to pop that out. And for whatever reason, this part did not come with this. Like I was saying before, I had to get it specifically at BMW. And then this, of course, is that servo motor one. Had to get it at BMW. Now I'm kind of wondering if I need to replace the 2 bolts for those. We'll have to see. Also, this cap right here, I asked him about that. He said that you know, they can go bad, but it doesn't really leak that much, you know, and it's not that big of a deal, and they can be swapped out. So if that's the only spot that's leaking, you can get one for like 20 or 30 bucks, and that's not a big deal. So there's no gasket in there that I have to replace. So at this point, I just got to do that quick disconnect, undo all these external Torx bolts, and I think that's it. I think it's ready to come off after that. So we'll regroup here, and I'll probably just disconnect that hose off camera, because if I'm fighting with it, you don't need to watch me fight with it, but I'll show you that at some point how that connects and disconnects. It is a bit of a pain in the butt, but I think I got an idea now.